Good to go? Yep. I forgot how to do this. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks. People watching the show don't know that, right? Because we've front loaded some episodes and we release them every week. But I've had the baby I've talked so much about.
Congrats, man.
Thank you guys, man. Thank you.
Congrats, yeah.
Super exciting. But yeah, we're back now with Shacres Development. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all being here. Introduce yourselves and tell us about your company and how y'all met, first of all, and where you grew up.
I'm Dontavoius Pittman, born and raised in Tampa, Tampa native. I met this guy in high school. Honestly, we all have different walks of life. We have a third partner. He couldn't be here today, but we have a third partner. We all met in high school. We started on an architecture program. I don't know if you want to say your name.
Kevin Johnson.
All right, we started on an architecture program at Tampa-based Tech. And, we were unruly teenagers. We wanted to be architects, but we didn't know what it actually...
Well, where'd you get that idea, though? Like, why do you want to be an architect? Was there someone in your family an architect?
I don't think we ever had this discussion.
Personally, I used to just draw a lot.
Yeah.
Like, if I wasn't playing video games or outside, I was drawing buildings. Like, literally, I would just draw, like, random skyscrapers.
Interesting, man. Yeah.
And I would draw sneakers and then Legos. Like, I just bought, I still deal with Legos. I did a Ferrari and I just got a BMW.
Me too. I still love Legos, dude.
So that was me. Like, that was it. And basketball, Tech had a good team at the time, and they had the architecture program. Like, and a lot of my friends, it was either Tech or King. So
y'all met in that architecture program.
Yeah. We kind of have a similar story, I guess. I was the same. I just always building stuff, always drawing. I think my mom introduced me to what an architect actually was. And after that, like, my dad started buying me like just random stuff. Like, I have a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge that somebody drew in my house that he gave me around that time. I'm like, why? But my parents were just, whatever I said I wanted to do, they would figure out how to support it. So
great parents.
Yeah, they found out about the program at Tech, and then we applied for it.
And then how'd you meet number 3? How does he come into? What's his name, first of all?
Oh, Ponce McNeil. So
shout out Pont.
Yeah. I met Ponce in middle school. So we went to Williams Middle School, and we have an interesting story too, because originally I went to Booker T. Washington, but our school got shut down, and all of the kids got moved to Williams, and that was his neighborhood school, so he was already there. And we met on the first day of school.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've been friends ever since. So
that's so cool. You guys are in business together and you've known each other that long.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a childhood dream come true type thing.
Literally.
So y'all, I mean, there's obviously time in between when you started Shacres Development and when you're in school. Kevin, I know you worked at the city. What did y'all do in between then? And then how'd you get back together and start this thing?
We went to FAM, all three of us, FAMU in Tallahassee. And Dante and I were there for architecture. I believe Ponce was there for business. And Dante, I would say first year we were locked in. Like, it was weird. Like, we almost had to, like, backtrack in terms of what we do, because we were so far ahead of all the other students.
Oh, wow.
Like, we were already in CAD. But when you start out your first 2 years, you do everything by hand. So it was like we were going backwards in a sense. And so first year we killed it, good grades and everything. And then me personally, Tallahassee.
Hey.
I think it was a combination of, like, socially just trying to adjust. Tally's crazy. But then
it's
also
a very distracting place, man.
Very. And at the time I didn't understand the concept of like, you are who you hang around. Like,
right.
My friends, all of my, outside of Dante, like, most of my friends were in other programs. And, I wanted to hang with my friends. Dante is not really he's more inside the house type of guy. So, I call my other friends, like, hey, like, we outside. But I also I think once things start to not make sense for me, I check out. And I think in architecture, the culture is very it can be very toxic, because all the professors, they went through that same, kind of, their professors were toxic. Just they talk to you crazy. Like, you'll work on your project all year just for them to tell you it's trash, like literally. And so for me, it started to not make sense. It's like it's design, like it's subjective. Like, how do you grade design? So it almost, for me, it was like, once that professor doesn't like you, you're cooked. Like,
Right.
and me, I was trying to balance social life and coming to studio's 3 hours long. Like, you got to be focused. It's late nights. We're up till 4 or 5 in the morning. Studio starts at 9 o'clock, so you can go home for maybe an hour or two, get sleep, and you got to come back and present in front of actual architects that come in to grade. So for me, I just fell out of love with architecture, and I felt like with architecture, you design a building and you walk away from it. Like, you never really get to see how people interact with the building and the space.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Versus, I grew up. My mom, she's volunteering is her thing. She works at the church to this day, on the side, of course. But for me, I always wanted to be around people and help people. And so I'm like, okay, how can I keep design and but also the people component of it, like, all together? And then that's when I started to learn about city planning, urban design. And at the time, urban design wasn't what it is now. Now, architects and architects try to push it to the forefront of their business, whereas back then it was just, we do architecture. But now, because the types of spaces that cities desire require good urban design, now all these architecture firms are like, oh yeah, we do urban design.
It's kind of crazy. It's happened so quick, right? Like, we're kind of the same age. I graduated FSU in 15.
Yeah.
You guys are right around me, right?
Yeah.
Something around there. What year did you
34.
graduate?
13 and 15. I graduated from FAM 13.
13, yeah.
And then FIU in 15, yeah.
Yeah, so we're right around the same age. It's crazy in, like, our short career. We've been in our careers like 10 years or so. It's shifted already. Like, that whole, like, everything we talk about on this show, right? Like, the walkability, the streetscape, the wide sidewalks, the shaded lanes for people, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that already it's shifted. So you recognize that, and that's what got you into urban planning. Did you feel like when you first got into architecture, it was the answer to, like, your childhood, this is what you want to do?
When I first got in architecture?
Yeah, when you first got into it.
It was just the program.
Yeah.
I was there for basketball. I was at Tech for basketball, but I think there was nothing else I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you have to be in a program at Tech. So architecture, it clicked. And yeah, but like I said, it's a great fan. Listen, most of my career, like, I've used the skills have come from Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's, to me, it's the best school in the city.
And valuable, yeah, to have that under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys all sort of graduate around the same time in a few years. Kevin, I know you work with the city.
Yeah.
But what'd you do, Dante, after you graduated?
So after I got out of school, after I got out of school, I was still on the high of completing architecture, completing an architecture program. I realized, though, while we were at FAMU, that architects weren't going to make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, that's the other part.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how we both got turned off and trying to look for different avenues.
30,000.
We had like a seminar, and an architect came in, and I can't remember who it was, but basically they sat us all down and they said, "Hey, once you start working in the firm, you're gonna make about 30,000, 35,000.
30,000.
Yeah. To be a draftsman. It was a reality check, and we were all looking at each other, like, cause everybody. Once you tell somebody you're pursuing architecture, they're automatically thinking you're gonna make 6 figures.
For sure.
Yeah, they're just.
I mean, that's what I thought.
Nah, but if you look at all the great architects, they have white hair. Like,
yeah,
that's a good point.
Like,
they stuck with it for 40 years.
Right.
But they're all anomalies, right? Like, they've created their own identities. Like, the rich architects out here, they've created their own identities
over decades,
and they also diversify. So, a lot of them, they even have products. They move into furniture design, all different kinds of things. But so after I got out of school, I had to make a choice. So I was applying for jobs like crazy, but the job market, it sucked around 2015. I had two options, and this is kind of like this is the road, like the road not taken situation. So I had a job offer to design props for Disney, but it was in High Springs. You know where High Springs is?
No.
Around Lake City,
Okay,
just
yeah.
north of Ocala.
Yep.
Nothing around it. Right. So that was one job offer, and it was offering like $5,000 less than the other job. Right. The other job was architecture in Atlanta. So I was like, do I take the job paying more that is going to, I guess, complete my destiny of wanting to become an architect, or do I take the one that sounds a bit more fun, which might, give me different experiences? Yeah, I chose the architecture job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I moved to Atlanta, and I worked for a company where we did mostly retail. So for my first 90 days of my job, I was traveling for work, doing surveys of TD Bank, nothing to do with architecture.
Doing surveys for like,
Bro,
how's
TD.
your customer experience type surveys?
So the company I work for, they designed all of the new branches for TD Bank on the East Coast, right? So TD Bank asked them to take a survey of different locations where they can place a new card printer machine. Right? This had nothing to do with design. Bro, I went everywhere from Fort Lauderdale to to Bangor, Maine, and even like on the border of Canada, looking for places in these branches to place a card machine.
And the whole time you're like, damn, I wish I was at Disney.
Bro, I was flying around with a box. It was like probably this big, and like luckily they designed it so it could fold up so I could check it on the airplane. But yeah, that was when I was taking these trips, I'm like, man, I should have took the other job. But eventually, we started. I got back in the office and we started designing like gas stations and other retail spots. And then I started to work for another company where all we did was Department of Defense and schoolwork.
That's cool.
So I kind of learned how things work with the government
Yeah.
in regards to spending. Because I was a part of a lot of projects where they paid us millions of dollars to design something that never got built.
Wow.
Always.
Yeah, yeah. Like the last project I was a part of, we sat on a base in Alabama for 2 weeks. Right, we designed a whole plan for their base. They designed tanks, so they were trying to figure out how to streamline. No, they didn't design. They manufactured tanks. They were trying to figure out how to streamline their manufacturing process because everything was so far apart from each other. It's like they would have to build a part, create a whole transportation plan to take the part to the next warehouse. So we did that for 2 weeks. I seen how much we got paid for that, and nothing ever happened,
How much was it?
bro. It was like $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, a little over $1 million. It was crazy.
So was that sort of your first inkling of, okay, I need to get in a space where I can work with the government in partnerships?
Nah. So shortly after that, I went to an AIA conference, right? 'Cause, I'm still in architecture, so AIA is the national organization. So I went to a conference reluctantly because I only went because I didn't want to be in the office, but I knew it was going to be boring, right? So I went to all of the seminars that seemed interesting, and one of them that seemed interesting was the architect as the developer. That was the title of it. It was a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Segal. He's out in San Diego, and he started out the conversation by showing us his car collection, right? And he ended up the conversation. Well, I'm sorry. He started off the conversation by showing us that, but he ended that conversation by showing us his picture with Jay Leno, right? Jay Leno's a big car guy, so he was showing us some cars that he was comparing with Jay Leno, like they were trading cars. So he was saying, you guys can have this if you basically modify the way you want to do business.
Mm.
So he was saying that he said in his business practice, he's the architect, the contractor, and the developer, right? He wears every hat. And he was showing how being all three led him to working with the local government and to responding to solicitations to build affordable housing. And his buildings were beautiful. Like he wasn't skimping on anything because he's getting paid for everything.
Right.
So he was designing beautiful structures in San Diego, and he was showing the metrics and the statistics about his residents and showing how it related to the housing needs of San Diego. And right there, I was done. Like seriously, right there, I was done. I had been introduced to development probably a couple years before that. My grandfather gave me a book about Jonathan Portman up in Atlanta. And he was an architect developer, but I didn't think that was attainable until I saw this guy. Yeah, when I saw
Why
this,
didn't you think it was attainable?
because you don't really go to school for being a developer. And like where we come from, basically if there's no clear path to it, then we don't really feel like it's attainable. Like doctor, you go to school for
Sure.
however many years. Engineer,
Right.
developer, there's no track.
True.
Like you kind of just transition into that, or it's a progression from different career paths, right? So, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, yeah, anyone who's in the circle of a real estate industry could be a developer. I mean, even a doctor could develop
Yeah.
his own medical office and then do it for another doctor, and then all of a sudden, oh well, I'm a developer who develops medical. Like,
Or Gasworks.
yeah, right, exactly.
the developer is just like a coach, right? Because like there's not really there's no class for there's no track really for being a coach. You kind of just say, hey, I want to coach. But like for players, you go play. You're being coached by someone. So yeah, that's kind of what it was. But then this guy, man, when I seen him, he had on a black T-shirt, black pants, sneakers. And he was so cool.
Yeah.
And he told us like how much his portfolio was. He said, yeah, I just got an offer last week for $100 million for my portfolio. I'm like, this guy is
Damn.
So right after that, I started researching, trying to figure out how to actually make the transition. So that was in 2017 or 2018. And ever since then, when we reconnected, I was telling him like, hey, we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were at the time at the city, right, Kevin?
Nah, so I transferred from FAMU to FAU because at the time nobody had urban design programs. If it was up to me, I would have went to Pratt Institute. I think it's in like Brooklyn or something. But obviously, so I ended up going to FAU. They had an urban design program. Graduated from there. Learned a lot. It was cool. I only had like a year left, like a year and a half, so it was quick. And I knew before I graduated I needed to get a job because I living in South Florida, I didn't and couldn't afford to just be sitting around, So I ended up, I called like 50 places. I called EDSA. It's like a world-renowned landscape architecture firm, and a whole bunch of local firms, Perkins and Will, like literally called like 50 firms over the summer. I'm like, I'm gonna send my resume and my portfolio to all these places. One of them has to hit. And in the middle of the summer, I was like, man, I just got to get a job, I'm in orientation, and I got a call from a number that I didn't recognize. It's you just got a feeling it's like, this is somebody. And so I went to the bathroom. They left a message, a voicemail, and it would happen to be an engineering firm. At the time, it was Keith and Schnarr's down in Fort Lauderdale. But they got bought out by KCI, which is a bigger engineering firm. So I worked there in the landscape architecture department, started there. So I was doing like a lot of DOT work in South Florida. So like all the interchanges and exits with all the palm trees and medians and everything. So started doing that. So I learned a lot about landscape. Then transitioned to the planning department, which was closer to where I wanted to be. But I wanted to be more design oriented. So, but there I was able to kind of, just learn about communities and dealing with communities from the city and the engineer side or the firm side. And so my first my first experience with a community was Miami Gardens, and they were trying to. The city of Miami Gardens hired my company to come up with a plan, and of course we had to present. So, you know, I'm black. Miami Gardens is like predominantly black. So the way I viewed that interaction was a little bit different than my coworkers, my colleagues. So, and I was able to connect with the residents in ways that my colleagues couldn't.
Sure.
So that really gave me my first taste of like, wow, like this is real. Like I'm really out here, like, you know. And I got friends and family that live down in South Florida. So I was like, this is impactful, you know. And then I also did like some workshops and stuff for the city of Miami Beach on Alton Road. They were trying to make Alton Road a little bit more pedestrian friendly. So again, and this is a completely different type of people. This is much more privileged, much more well off, if you will. So
you're getting to work kind of all different sides.
yeah. So and it just again, it's I just sit back and watch. Like,
Yeah.
I just sit back and I mean work obviously, but like just kind of see. I'm looking for the side conversations. You know, I'm looking for facial expressions, all of that. So that kind of really got me good there, and then left that firm and went to a bigger firm, WGI, which they're like one of the biggest engineering firms in like the Southeast. They have an office in Tampa as well, but worked for them. I was doing mainly site design, so I was able to tap back into, you know, skills from tech with CAD and everything. That was that was a crazy. I missed his wedding because of that job. Like,
Damn.
but we hadn't talked in years, and he called me out the blue to invite me to his wedding, and I just, you know, private sector, you get paid for 40 hours a week, but they really expect you to work at least 50 a week, like at least. And so I couldn't make it, man, and I was just so locked in on work. I felt bad, like,
Yeah.
But I'm glad he called me, because if had he not called me,
That's
like,
how y'all got reconnected over those
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, that was what, a couple years.
yeah, it was a few years, and it was no bad blood. It was just, you know, just life, like.
How'd you make it back up to Tampa?
So I was doing site design and slaving, and I started to get a better understanding of how the business worked as far as engineering firms like Stantec and Kimley Horns, all that. And I realized I saw a contract one time, and it was like, you know, we expect this site plan to take X hours at a rate of $100 an hour for design services. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't get paid $100, not even close, an hour to design. So again, like when things don't make sense, like I check out.
It's that multiplier.
And this
Yeah.
and this is around 2018. And if you remember, this is when Water Street started to pick up.
Right.
And funny enough, before I went to South Florida, they had a groundbreaking at the site of where what's the restaurant?
Ybor?
Yeah, what is it? Yard House.
Yard House.
Yeah.
Yard House.
They had the groundbreaking there. Nothing was there. I think this was even before Ferg's.
Nuke's Cafe was there before.
Okay, but it was a vacant lot. Vinnick was out there. It was just older people. It was like at 9 o'clock in the morning, 2015, but I was so tapped in, like,
wow, this is super early.
Yeah. So I went there, and I'm probably the youngest person there, and they did the, everything, and then I went up to Vinnick after, and I was like, introduced myself, and I'm like, I'm looking to get into urban design. I really love this project. I'd just like to get an internship or something, like, if possible. And he gave me an email, but like a week before that, I had just got accepted to FAU. And it's like, I needed to get my degree.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what made me end up going to South Florida. But the opportunity, low key, was there. But fast forward, again, Water Street's picking up, and they're putting out jobs and everything. And I applied, and I had 2 phone interviews with Brad Cook. I think he's still with them, really good guy. and he called me on the third and was like, "Hey, I need you. Can you come to Tampa?" And mind you, I work I work on a slave ship. So I'm in my head, I'm like, how the hell am I gonna do this? So I faked sick. I faked sick. I packed my bags and the suit and everything the night before, had it in the car, because I lived in Pompano, Fort Lauderdale area, but the office was in West Palm Beach. So I faked sick, and I went straight from Tampa. I went straight from West Palm to Tampa. Got there that evening. Kind of got my mind right and everything. The interview was the next morning. Interview with 11 different people over the span of 5 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was insane. And then what happened after? Oh, in my head, I'm like, this third interview, 5 hours.
Right.
And it's crazy because it's really like a test of like exhaustion. Like, can you stay tapped in for the entirety of the 5 hours?
That's intense. Yeah.
You're saying the same thing.
Checked out.
Bro.
Like, I'm hungry. Let me get out of here.
Oh my God, it was crazy. I was burnt out by the end. But
What was the job position? And by the way, try to keep these like angled and close to you,
Gotcha.
close to your mouth as possible.
It was like just a entry level development associate role. Again, I was just trying to that's when I first learned about development working at WGI. And I would be on the phone with our developers, our clients, and trying to figure, and I'm designing, trying to figure things out. And it just wouldn't click over the phone. And he was like, you know what, I'll just come up there. And I'm like, all right, like that's must be nice. Like you could just get up and go as you please, where as you know. So that's what made me the autonomy and being able to kind of like, I'm not the type of person to sit in front of a computer all day.
Right.
I like to be out, moving around, talking to people, feeling things. So that's what gave me the bug. And then another professor I had, Peter Hen at FAU. But yeah, so I finished the interview with SPP. And in my head, I'm just like, there's no way that I'm not getting this job. Like, I've never had 3 interviews and not got a job.
Right.
And so like a week or two went by, hadn't heard anything. And then finally Brad called me. He was like, yeah, man, interview went well and everything, but, we decided to not fill the position. And I was really checked out after that. Like,
Yeah.
And I think obviously my job and my directors and everything, they could see it. Like, it's hard for me to hide how I feel about things. And I was sick, and yeah, so they ended up letting me go. But I was already mentally in Tampa, back in
Sure.
Tampa. So I moved back right at the top of 2020. Started working at Social Status in Hyde Park, sneaker and apparel boutique store. And then the pandemic hit. And then things slowed down. And that allowed me to work at the store and really just, but I intentionally worked at Social Status so it would put me in Hyde Park because I knew developers would be in that area. So, I would rub shoulders with,
The who's who.
Exactly. So made some great relationships. And then right towards the end of the time I was working at the store, because I was working for crazy life. I was working for Steve Gianfilippo with Gianco, the Hyde House and all of that. I was working with him and Mike from Emoto, and learned a lot from both of them. I was more so just kind of, it was more of just a learning experience. They gave me an opportunity to kind of work with them and be around. So I was doing that as well as working at Social Status. And then it got to a point where it's like, my girlfriend got pregnant. So like, I got to start making real money again. Cause I was never intending to stay at the store for very long.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the pandemic was throwing everything off. There were no jobs. Nobody was hiring. So finally things started to open back up and I'm like, yeah, I got to get back. But I was also, an opportunity presented itself with the sneaker and apparel boutique store. They have at the time they had about 20, 22 stores. all along the East Coast. And
This episode is brought to you by the official remodeler of the TBD podcast, Kohler House Remodeling Company. Built on the belief that every homeowner deserves a premium experience, Kohler House is redefining high-end home remodeling with their commitment to integrity, craftsmanship, and quality communication. Their work speaks for itself, from condos in the towers of Channelside to 100-year-old homes in South Tampa, creating spaces that are both stunning and functional. What sets Kohler House Remodeling Company apart is their dedication to not only transforming homes into beautiful spaces, but to elevating the standard of residential general contracting. From concept to completion, every detail is handled with care, ensuring a process that's as smooth as the results are impressive. To learn more, check out our partner's website at kohlerhouse.net, KOHLERHAUS.net. This episode is sponsored by Chansey Architecture and Interior Design. Rooted in the heart of Ybor City for over 35 years, Walt Chansey and his team are trailblazers in their field. Beyond their work across the United States and the Bahamas, Chansey has shaped some of the most iconic residential and commercial spaces that serve as gateways to Cigar City, including Casa Marti and Casa Gomez. What sets Chansey Design apart is their ability to preserve the soul and character of historic buildings while seamlessly integrating modern design and functionality. They blend tradition with innovation, creating spaces that honor the past while meeting today's needs. Check out their work at www.chanseydesign.com.
And he had about 9 or 10 projects in the pipeline, 2 in Charlotte, 2 in Atlanta, 1 in Detroit, 1 in Harlem, 2 in Pittsburgh, and a beach house in Folly Beach, South Carolina. And so the previous manager of social status got promoted to corporate, and he was asking me like, what would keep you around, you know, with the company? Because he knew I was out, like, this is temporary. And I'm like, bro, you know what I want to do. Like, if it's not development or like relative to that, like, there's nothing here for me. And he was like, you know what? I think the CEO, I think he handles all the projects by himself. And he reached out to him. It's a Black-owned company as well. So he connected us, and it took about, I told him I wanted to work with him, you know, and figure it out, help him out. And he was like, you know, nobody's ever reached out to me about a job in real estate. So he's like, I don't even know how to like respond to this, you know, ask or whatever. So he's like, just stay, you know, connected with me. And but again, I had a baby on the way, so for me, it was like, I got to get back to making money. That's where the city came into play. So I would work at this. I got a job in the urban design department in zoning, which was perfect for me. And I worked there from like 7:30, 8 o'clock till about 4:35, and then I would go to the store immediately after, from like 4:30 to closing, like 8:30.
12-hour days.
Yeah, and
Wow.
and I got a newborn at the house.
Shit, man.
But it was all because I knew the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
So working at the city, learned a lot, like, and I knew it was all steps, you know, in my respective journey. And I knew that I always look at every job or opportunity that I or we get, and it's like, what's the lesson here? And with the city job, so first job, it was landscape architecture. Second job, it was planning, you know, CRA meetings and connecting with the community. Next role was site design. And then I worked with Gianco and doing that's, you know, creative commercial concepts and stuff like that. So I felt like the last piece needed was, outside of doing our own projects, was really just knowing how the city works and developing relationships at the city as well. So yeah, I worked there for about 8 or 9 months, but it was, I mean,
Kind of grinding and you know, working at the sneaker store. And...
Yeah, and then I got a call from the CEO of the sneaker and apparel boutique company, and he was like, he did like a little informal interview with some of the top guys in the company, and he went through all the projects. He was like, all right, so when can you start? And I'm like, bro, I was like, I needed like a week. And so I talked to my girlfriend, kind of made the decision to make that move, and I worked at that company for almost 3 years.
Yeah. What was your role with them?
Development project manager.
Wow.
But there was no team. I worked directly with the owner of the company. So the company got about 200 employees.
So you're almost like an owner's rep,
Yeah,
basically?
yeah. But
Opening up these new locations.
but doing way more. Like, yeah. So it was cool. I learned a lot. Got to go to different markets. Opened up a store in Baltimore. Opened up another store in Charlotte with the skate park integrated. And like,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, that's a whole nother world. I'll show you that.
But your role was working with that local municipality to navigate their code and get this thing permitted and
Like, I worked with NYC DOB. Nothing compares to that. Like, in terms of like,
what's that, New York City?
yeah, like we had a brownstone in Harlem, and it was Neil Patrick Harris's brownstone, and we were trying to convert it into a retail concept, and
you're the guy, you're the one that has to like be in front of the local board, whatever that may be, and pitch this idea.
well, we had an architect. Our architect was based out of Atlanta, but he was using a colleague of his, their license in New York, and so yeah, it was crazy.
So they're like the worst in terms of trying to get something done.
Yeah,
Really?
bro.
I would think, I mean, naively, right? I don't know. But
I mean,
I
but
would
just
just imagine it would be easy because you look at New York and you're like, holy shit, they have everything going on. It must be easy to make something happen.
But I think
No.
that it's the opposite because there's so many projects that they think about how many projects could easily just slip underneath the radar.
Yeah, right.
And then you got these old 100-year-old buildings where people are, increasing the occupancy from maybe 10 to 100. So now you gotta fortify the building with more steel, and now we're going from egress, like enhancing egress standards, and you got to shut down the stairs because you can't.
I have a friend whose sister and her husband have a brownstone, I think in Brooklyn, and they're going down 2 floors, like underground. I'm like, holy shit, you can do that? That's crazy. They're like, yeah, like they're adding on, I think like 2 basements, and then they're going to have like 6 floors in total, but only 4 are going to be above the ground.
Yeah, this one.
So just weird shit, that you can't do here, obviously.
We think that we're doing infill projects here.
Right.
That's why, and
Right.
that, and again, and I'll wrap this up. But going to all these different cities and seeing like where they're at in comparison. So I would go to DC, I would go to New York, I would go to Atlanta, and then I would come home and I'd just be like, bro, we have so much work to do. Like, we're not even close.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And the things that we get caught up on politically, socially, whatever, like the issues are nothing compared to like what other cities are working through. And it's just, yeah, so
I have that thought sometimes too. I mean, it'll go both ways for me. Like some days I'll be driving, whether it's down Bayshore or on a particularly beautiful day, the sun's out, the weather's like 75. It's just beautiful. I'm on the river walk, or I'm looking at the skyline. I'm like, wow, this place is amazing. But then there's many other days where I'll drive through even what people consider the nicest of neighborhoods that have ditches and broken roads, and I'm like, damn, we got a long way to go, And traveling gives you that perspective, especially traveling overseas. Have y'all been to Europe ever, or anywhere outside of America and seen some of the way that they do their cities?
Yeah.
It's so different. I mean, the way that they've got their public transportation and their cities are so less car dependent. You come back here and you're like, yeah, we got a long way to go.
yeah. So towards the end of I'd say about a year, the last year is when I started to juggle that job in Shacres. And Dante, he bit the bullet and well,
You jumped ship first? You were the first one?
Well, life pushed him.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. You either you're gonna make the move or life's gonna make the move for you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I had been wanting to do so. My philosophy in the corporate world was I didn't want to be anywhere longer than 3 years. So my first job, I was there for about 2 years. My second job, it was about 2 or 3 years, and then I had a actually no, yeah, my second job was 2 years, and then my last job, I was there too long, man. I was there over 3 years, and I got laid off. So I was doing construction management for one of the largest hospice companies in Florida, right? So it's a cushy job because it was a pandemic, right? So I'm working from home. I'm making trips to our construction projects, but you know,
Keeping your distance.
keeping my distance. As long as I answered that phone when somebody called, I was good. As long as I made the meetings, I was good. So I was working on my own stuff outside of work, anyways. So yeah, 3 years. It was almost 3 years, right? And one random morning, I got a call. You're like, "Hey, yeah, we're letting go the whole department." And
Wow.
yeah, it hit me, but I wasn't that upset. When they told me, I was already in the process of developing. So we bought a property in Ybor, by La Segunda. So it was a duplex lot. So we put a duplex on it. So I was in the thick of it with that, and I had just gotten that
Let's
call.
pull that up, David. I want to see this thing. I want to track your projects from the beginning. How many projects have you guys done with Shaker? And this includes Shakers, right? This is
Yeah.
yeah. How many have you done?
We're on what, three, four,
Or
You've got that
one, two,
the
three.
amazing 10 unit, which I'm really excited to talk about.
Yeah.
That's how we got connected. I think initially you reached out, Kevin, but I think I had saw y'all at that council meeting and then looked up the project and I was like, damn, this is sick. So this was the first development you did.
Yeah.
And you're in the process of, doing the sort of back end permitting while you're
Yeah.
at this COVID virtual job.
Yeah.
And probably finding more passion in the real development, like doing the thing
Yeah.
versus just having the job and collecting the paycheck
Pretty much. I would answer my calls from here.
from the job site.
From the job site. Man, it was fun. I learned a lot. Especially about the whole process. We had to go through burial for this project.
Is this new construction or is this a remodel?
No, this was built in 2022. I'm not sure when this picture was taken, but yeah, this was built in 2022. So yeah, I went through the whole process. We went through purchasing the lot. Went through the burial. We went through permitting and everything. So this was all while I was at work. So towards the end of this project, yeah, I actually, I got that call stating that our department was getting let go, and yeah, I took a deep breath. I went and told my wife, and then yeah,
And this right here, Shakers, was like, all right, now I'm full time on this thing.
yeah, because we were also working on a remodel, a pharmacy, which got converted from a bar. It was in East Tampa, so it got converted from a bar to a pharmacy. So I was also in the process of doing that as well. So basically, doing my job outside of my job,
Right.
because doing construction management.
And the pharmacy, did the business owner approach you, or how did that deal get done?
Yeah, so they approached us because we pitched another concept for them. We pitched another concept for one of their other properties, and they liked the way that we packaged it up for them. So they asked us if we could assist with making the conversion for this building. So we said yes, and they also approached the CRA, East Tampa CRA, for funding for this project. So that was kind of like the progression of how we started doing work with the municipality. So yeah, this was all around the same time. And then yeah, I mean, after that, I mean, you got a couple of projects under your belt. It's not as hard to make the transition to entrepreneurship.
And why? I mean, were you looking at all areas of the city to do something in? West Tampa, East Tampa, South Tampa is so freaking expensive, but I guess everywhere is expensive now. But did you look a lot of different places at different deals? You did?
Yeah, bro. I actually, it was probably about a year before we actually locked in something.
Just because you were looking.
Yeah. So man, COVID really brought the characters out in real estate.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like you were getting offers of 20,000, 50,000 more than asking. So there were a couple of properties I looked at in Seminole Heights. One was a bungalow that I got on the short sale, but we kind of got kicked out of that deal because of the other offers, right?
Yeah.
So then I had another one, down the street from Armature Works. It was an older home that someone's trying to wholesale to us, but the wholesaler got greedy. So I think he was trying to make like $120,000 more than what the family was asking for. And yeah, that deal was too much. So yeah, I've been getting kicked around, but I came across this lot. This is one thing I would say. I came across this lot, right? And I called.
Wow, bro.
Yeah. Normally, if you're looking for real estate, you have like representation, right? Like a realtor
Sure.
that'll help you source properties, right?
Yeah.
But me, I was up, late nights trying to find a property. What I learned was, if you call the listing agent, they're more apt to work with you because
As the owner,
because they're not splitting
as
anything.
the prospective buyer. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I called the realtor who listed this, and we worked out a deal. And even though I wasn't the highest bidder, I was the one that came in with no representation. So he represented me in this whole deal, and he made it happen. Even when the owner was trying to ask for more money, he said, "Hey, no, this guy, he wants to buy this property. We made a deal."
Sure.
It was interesting, man. That's when properties were still affordable in
What'd
this
you
area.
pay for this lot here?
83.
Unbelievable.
83. Yeah.
What's it worth today? Like, if this lot was available, what do you think someone would pay for it?
Man, the lot,
Yeah, just the lot.
like 160, 180. Yeah, I mean,
So let's pause here because we kind of went through the story. I want to talk about our generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're all in our 30s, younger 30s.
Mm-hmm.
You're mid 30s ish.
34.
34.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just turned 33. We're all the same age basically. There's been so much price acceleration since we kind of got into our career. Nothing matters when you're 21, 22. You don't have the money to do anything anyway. I mean, I was always keeping track of it. My mom was a realtor, and even before my mom was a realtor, she worked at a title company. I was always just around real estate, kind of paying attention, sort of not really as a kid. But in our career, prices have escalated so much that maybe what we would have built up over like 10, 15 years, we've had to switch. And all of a sudden, everything's literally 100%, 120% more expensive. Yeah. So for young people to get in this game, this development business, it's very, very challenging, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's a way around that other than to just get busy and get working.
Yeah.
I don't think prices are ever going to go back to where they were. It's only more competitive. There's only more investors in town. There's only more developers that are coming from around Tampa and from other parts of the country that are bringing their money here. So for you guys to do what you've done as natives of Tampa is freaking awesome. And the fact that you're still in the game and you're still doing bigger projects is
Thanks, man.
really appreciative, man, because it's not easy.
Thanks.
I mean, this deal might not even make sense today. You tell me, if this was on the market today, could you even do this deal at 180 plus construction costs today? It'd be very difficult.
Today, no.
Today, no.
Not today.
No.
So we talk all the time about the revitalization of the city and we want to build back the city. It's like, it's hard to even do because of the way things are. I mean, you're sitting here telling me a deal you just did only a few years ago, you can't even do today because the numbers don't work.
Correct.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. And the processes, man, having to go through, if you were to create a pro forma, right, trying to just dive into this project, you have to go through so many processes to actually get the project started. Especially in Ybor, you have to go through burial, right? So it's going to take you, 2 months, 2 or 3 months to get a certificate of appropriateness. Then now you have to do site plan review. You got to do a site plan review for your project. So that's another month of somebody just reviewing your specific site plan. Then you have to go through the permitting process to get your construction documents approved. That'll kill your whole...
And all behind the scenes, you're working with your architect and contractor to get everything figured out.
Man, that'll kill your whole pro forma, man. If you're thinking that you're gonna just spend a couple of months in the soft costs and then you're gonna dive right into construction. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just described what, 6 months before you even put a shovel in the ground?
Yeah. And you still got to lock in funding to get this project going. Most, lenders aren't even going to fund you until, your project is actually ready to, is actually shovel ready. So, yeah, you kind of a sitting duck, man.
It's just funny, y'all. I mean, we've talked about your sort of origin story, but it is kind of a crazy business to get into because of what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That's why there's no path.
there's no path, but it's also like if you're like 20, like if you're okay, I'm going to graduate college next year. I want to be a developer. Oh my God. You guys made it. Like here you guys are as developers, few projects under your belt. The 10 unit we're getting ready to talk about is freaking awesome. You got more in the pipeline. It was extremely difficult to start when you guys started, but from zero now today with prices the way they are,
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm just worried about like how is any city, I mean Tampa specifically, but like how is any American city going to grow and develop over the course of our lifetime? How is a new generation going to come in and start to do projects when the dirt is 160 in a neighborhood that had almost really no demand for new development for decades and decades and decades? Here we are in this market now with an opportunity to make stuff like this happen, which is fantastic. This place is beautiful, by the way.
Thanks.
I forgot the name of that. What's like the wood detail on the top part? I love that. I always forget
the
name.
shakes. You talking about in the gable?
The shakes?
Yeah, they're shakes. Shakes shingles.
Shake shingles. It's really tasteful, man. But it's like when you start talking about the price of that dirt is now 150% more than it was 5 years ago,
Yeah.
you're going to leave less room for little architectural details like that. Yeah. It's a tough world, man. And I don't know the solution. I think debt has to get a little cheaper, right? Interest rates need to soften.
Yeah.
Insurance needs to flatten out a little bit.
Yeah.
Dirt's not going to get cheaper, and I don't know that construction's going to go down that dramatically too. Are you guys seeing any sort of budge on construction costs?
No. Honestly, we've been finding more. We've been finding it more lucrative for us if we buy everything in bulk. So we buy things from multiple projects at a time and just kind of sit on it. I know we got a little worried when they started introducing tariffs, because we got a lot of steel for our new project, and like roofing materials and stuff like that were starting to increase. So yeah, we just been kind of buying and sitting on stuff.
Where do y'all keep the materials at?
In storage. Yeah, we're actually upgrading our storage tomorrow to a larger storage, and that costs too. But
it all costs something.
It's saving us. Yeah.
It's just I guess you just have to be dynamic and get creative about how you get these things done.
Mm-hmm.
So this was so you had that conversation with, you said, your girlfriend, and when you really, or was it your wife at the time?
My wife, yeah.
And with your wife, and you really jumped ship and dove into this full time, but you had already got this duplex sort of under your belt. And then Kevin, where did you come into the picture? Did you come into the picture on this 2-unit here?
More so financially. I literally didn't have the capacity to. My previous job, the sneaker and apparel boutique. Yeah, my boss, he was James Whitner. Look him up when you get a chance. Really successful guy. I learned a lot from him, but he is like, here, type A. If there's another letter in front of A,
He's A positive.
Yes. Positive.
But it was cool. Like, I think it was tough, but I was able. I'm like, if I can work for him, I can work for anything, anybody, do anything. So it got to a point where one, I hated seeing my guys working without me. And they understood, like, the situation, and we were still trying to figure out how we could all make a living off of our company. So it didn't make sense at the time, but as things started to progress, and I started to yeah, it got to a point, and I was juggling both. I was juggling Shakers, and I was juggling the Whitaker Group, and it was taking a toll on life. Let's just say
Sure.
all aspects of
So
life.
you were like an investor on the first one here,
Yeah,
basically.
but then as we got, we started to kind of formalize and put together Casa Maceo and everything else a lot more hands on, but I still had to put the Whitaker Group first because that's where my salary was coming from. But again, I hated seeing and I'm traveling. I'm literally out the country out the city every week. And I'm just seeing my guys like back home, and I can't really give all of myself. So I felt like I was kind of cheating my guys as well. So it got to a point where, again, either you make a decision or life pushes you. And I got laid off on Halloween, this past Halloween, because retail is slow, slowing down. So, but I was happy. Like
Yeah.
I was pissed because I wanted to finish some of the projects that I worked on. Got like a 20,000 square foot building in Atlanta with living units, retail, restaurant, bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll show it to you offline. But I was the guy, like so I was really those projects meant a lot to me, but this meant more.
Sure.
So
Well, and you had already got the experience too, going
yeah.
through all that.
So got laid off, and it was just like I went to go play basketball like an hour later at in West Chase, and yeah, and then from there it was like, and it's funny, like 2 weeks before that, before I got laid off, Dante and I was starting to talk about figuring out how we could make a living off of Shakers, and we had basically figured it out, and so then I got laid off, and it was like,
Kind of perfect timing.
yeah,
Wow, man. So yeah, you guys are all joined together and you do this 10 unit. Pull that 10 unit up, David. I think it would be in the email or maybe on the website
First one.
right there. And it actually in person looks even better than the renderings. It's super well done. It looks like it's been there for 100 years. It looks historic. It's in Ybor City. Explain what it is. So it's a 10 unit multifamily in Ybor, right? And talk about the name of it, the inspiration, the opportunity, how you found the deal, right? Go through that whole process.
yeah.
You start from the
All
beginning.
right. Yeah, you go ahead, and then I'll jump in.
Okay. All right. So
Start with the site.
Okay. Well, we kind of have to start before that.
Okay.
So when we were doing that duplex project, I had been trying to figure out creative ways to sustain it, right? So trying to figure out because my passion has always been affordable housing. So, but I knew that with that neighborhood, the cost of that, like the assessment for that property, it kind of be foolish to do to incorporate affordable housing right there because the rents in the neighborhood. So well, I'm not gonna say foolish. I'll say tough, right? So I had approached housing, City of Tampa Housing Community Development, and just went in there to talk shop. Introduced myself to the housing director, um, and I asked her about this property. I was also having permitting issues too, right? So I asked her about this property. I was like, "Hey, how can I get this the numbers to work with it being affordable housing?" And she ran down everything from like all of the pay scales, the income for the area, how we could still technically make it work under like 120%, stuff like that, right? So we just talked. I was telling her what I was doing. I think she kind of was impressed by the amount of information that I presented to her and my knowledge of housing. And so from there, we kind of just built a relationship, right? And she was telling me, there's a infill program that we do. The program where the city provides lots to developers and they develop it and sell it. She was telling me about those those solicitations, but also was telling me about different solicitations that not many people know about, right? So after that conversation, she was just like, "Hey, just pay attention, right? Just check our websites. Just connect yourself with our solicitation outlets, and always be prepared, right? So I got a notification. No, actually, no. I think I was just searching the site one day, and I saw that there was a solicitation available, and so I called these guys, and I said, "Hey, man. Well, she told us to look, and this one actually seems like a great opportunity for us. Let's apply for it, right?" So this was what, Christmas 22. This is like, yeah, this is 2022. Yeah. So this was Christmas of 22. So we spent the whole December. This was like this was early. This was like beginning of December when they put it out. So we spent the whole December trying to put together something. This wasn't even our original site that we chose. We went through like 10 different sites. And we actually submitted 2 different projects.
So how did that work with the city though? They put out a partnership. So they don't put out a specific, hey, here's an address, here's the site.
No.
Huh.
So this one wasn't a request for proposal. It wasn't a request for qualifications. It was a RFA, a request for applications. So basically, I'll just summarize the request. The request was, hey, bring us projects with minimum 10 units, and we'll assist you with funding. And you have to maintain 50 to 80% AMI. You can't go over 80% AMI, and you have to maintain that for 30 years. So once we read that, I mean, we knew construction, we knew how to put together a deal. We just jumped on it because it didn't have the only restrictions were for us to keep it affordable, which is what we wanted to do anyways. So yeah, we applied for it, but we were trying to, our goals were lofty at this point. We were looking at projects 30 units, 40 units. But we settled on this one and another one. It was a townhome project in Seminole Heights. And the one in Seminole Heights was in the middle of being rezoned, which we helped the owner rezone it. But
Successfully.
Yeah, yeah, successfully. We helped them after we got awarded for this. But yeah, that project was one that we were looking at as well, because that was 16 townhomes. And so it was a decision we had to make. Well, actually, no, they sort of made the decision for us, because they let us know that they would rather fund a project they didn't have to rezone. They didn't have to wait on rezoning versus a project that
The city themselves is saying that?
Yeah, we had a discussion because we presented 2 projects. They were like, "Hey, these are both great projects, but one we're gonna have to wait a year for, and the other one seems like you can kind of attack it within like a year."
And the city's perspective is we need to get rolling on affordable housing.
Yeah.
And we want to be quick with this.
Yeah, we have an issue, and we need. We'll much rather fund a project that can address our needs.
So you put this RFA,
Yeah.
request for applications.
Mm-hmm.
They select you, and then you're kind of looking at sites.
No, we had to. So we had to put together the whole deal.
Yeah.
Oh, when you go to make this, when you put your application in, you're like, here's our firm, here's who we are, here's this site, here's what we could, like the entire A to Z package.
Had to present our resumes, things that we've done. Had to have enough experience to apply for this. But yeah, we had to find the site. We had to show them that we had correspondence with the owners, like some agreement in place, or
So you got to take a few steps before you can do this RFA with the city.
yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah,
A lot.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We had to present like we presented 2 projects, 2 of which we had already had correspondence with the realtors who had listed these properties, and yeah, we had to get them under contract. We had to spend money before we even.
With no guarantee from the city.
Yeah.
So you saw this one. This one was what, online for sale?
Yeah.
Was it already zoned for these 10 units?
Yeah.
And that's why you said earlier the city liked it because it was ready to roll.
Yeah. It's on YC5, and the lot size gave us it technically gave us 9, but we had a bonus density for affordable housing, so we got the 10 out of it.
It's really, really cool. I love, in Tampa, it seems like a lot of the projects are townhome style, duplex style. This is almost a cool mix of like, it kind of looks like an apartment building with the parking in the back. The front streetscape is to the sidewalk. So like you're a part of the community, when you're looking at it. Go back to David to the front. And then the front, like, how is it set up? Obviously, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 entrances from the street. That's what I mean. It's like it's an apartment building, but it's made to look like an old school Ybor,
Yeah.
like shotgun style house.
Like individuals.
Individuals, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a part of the requirement with Barrio?
No, so Barrio's interesting. We worked with them a couple of times. We've done a couple of projects in the area, and the thing with them is they want you to use architectural elements that are period appropriate, right? They make suggestions, and it's up to us to interpret them, in order to proceed the project. So we didn't have to do this. We could have done like the building down the street from us, the one by your house, the stucco. Yeah, we could have picked any style, but this kind of married all the ideas from the projects we had before, and so we just used those architectural elements from previous projects. But yeah, I think it kind of turned out nicely because people actually don't know what building is, like what type of building it is. They always say townhomes, and
Yeah, exactly. But that's my whole point.
Yeah.
You know,
Townhomes.
people, that word duplex,
Yeah.
right? Quadplex. We've talked about this before, how it sort of has this interesting connotation to it. I mean, I don't have that connotation.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with a quadplex across the street. I didn't think, oh, quadplex, these people are a certain, no. And with this looks like it fits in so well. You don't even really know what you're looking at. You're just looking at nice housing. Right. And any neighborhood really could receive something like this that matched that neighborhood's character, and it wouldn't be as offensive as a townhome project, which is just so cookie cutter, and you kind of know what you're getting when you look at it. With this, you've created a 10-unit, basically an apartment building, right? Is that how it's classified? It's not a townhome.
Nope.
But you keep all that same character. So with all y'all's background, I'm assuming that is the reason why it looks like this. It looks like you guys got very creative with this. I don't typically see 10-unit apartment buildings in this city look like that. Like, you guys were pretty forward thinking with this. Where did you start? Sounds like you get the dirt. You know you're entitled. The city basically gives you a sort of stamp and says, hey, that we like this. Like, we're ready to roll. That's probably where it got exciting. So what point do you start to draw this thing up and get really excited about doing this?
Man, we had to have it drawn up before we submit it.
And that's why I said earlier, like, that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on in terms of separating ourselves, is because we can do everything without having to call an architect. Just to get past, obviously, to get permits, you got to get stamps. But to put something in front of, a housing director, or put something in front of council, you don't, your site plans don't have to be stamped for council. We can do all of that. So for us, we were able to we worked together, figured out the site plan, and literally just had to, once we got it approved and got the project approved, everything, the cake was baked. The architect just had to put icing on it.
By the time you made that application, it was already kind of a hey, here's the deal. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's everything about it.
Dante whipped up the floor plan, and it was very minimal work.
With this project in particular, it sounds pretty straightforward, but what's the greatest challenge in it? Is it
Currently?
Well, because you're not finished yet, first of all, right?
A couple months.
Couple months to go. You're close to being done. Is the challenging part for you guys, and just in general with development for these particular like city kind of partnership affordable housing projects, is the challenge that you have to come to the table with this like pretty comprehensive package? Like, you already have to have the site either under contract. Well, I would imagine you'd want it already under contract if you're going to do all this damn work, right? You have to have these things drawn up. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen. Is that the greatest challenge? Like, why can't you do this 1,000 times throughout the city?
This was the easiest part.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we got presented with specific instructions, right? all of us are pretty straightforward, especially our other partner. He's just like,
I wish she was here.
he's like, what are the numbers? What we have to be? Okay, that's what it is. On our issue is that we want everything to be pretty, right? So once we got through the aesthetics of the building and we got everything submitted, that was the easy part. Honestly, the most challenges we've had are in construction. Yeah, and the unforeseen costs. So you can try to plan for things, but we've been getting hit with some stuff out of left field, man.
Like cost escalations or what specifically?
Yeah, cost escalations. I'll be specific about one. Our stairs, right? So we have 2 stairwells in this building. They're 3 stories each. Originally, we got a cost around $59,000, right? Right around the time that the tariffs got introduced, cost shot up to 90 grand for stairs. Yeah, that's one.
Something you have to have.
Yep.
Yeah. We've been dealing with Tampa Electric, with having to place our utilities on our site.
Shout out to Addison.
Yeah,
She's been incredible. Addison Lugo. She's,
With Tico?
yeah, she's great. She's a native. That's why. Yeah.
She gets it.
Yeah.
She's like trying to make this. She's trying to find a way to say yes.
Yeah. No,
But what's the challenge? The location on the site for all your electrical?
we got a real infill site.
This is
Like if we don't plan out staging or plan out how things are gonna work, we run into issues every time.
yeah.
Here's the thing though. You say that, I say that, we all kind of talk about that. But then earlier we talked about New York.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, no,
somehow they find a way, right? To build that city up.
Yeah.
It's the most dense city in the entire country. You know, they find a way.
But they've been doing it for decades. Like it's just information passed down versus we
That's a good point though, right there, because it's like maybe some of the people that are in those positions say no. That doesn't work like that too quickly because they're used to that, right? They're used to that sort of old school way of doing things here around the city. Because if you look at old pictures of Tampa, it used to actually look a lot like a place like New York or Chicago. Like it used to be very dense. We used to have this transportation network, this whole grid system, right? Before urban renewal, before the highways. This is like late 1800s, early 1900s type stuff. It used to look like a real city.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't. And now we have all this open space, and yet we still have challenges with the space and putting things in a certain place. So it's more of like a culture, a mindset versus an actual problem on the face. Maybe it's old policies in place.
Yeah.
But your girl at Tico sounds like she gets it. She's trying to find a way to make it work instead of looking at the site and being like, nah, this has too many constraints.
and she's our age.
Right.
So she looks at us, she sees herself, she sees, and she knows we've had a conversation, about being natives. So I think that conversation really, like she just texted me or sent an email early this morning, like, getting an email from Tico on Monday morning, like, good luck.
Yeah.
Or a return call.
Right. And so she's been extremely helpful. But it's just,
It's a pain in the butt, all this, isn't it?
it is, but it's
Yeah.
part of it. That's why we do it. It's who else is gonna do it?
Not a lot of people do it. And I think a lot of people don't do it because of what we've been talking about. There's so many constraints and so many unknowns and so much risk that people would rather take the virtual job, right?
sure.
And they'd rather just collect the paycheck. You guys have to have something deep in your soul to really want to do this, man.
Yeah.
This shit's not easy, as y'all know.
Parents think you're crazy.
Oh yeah.
Wife probably thinks you're crazy too.
No. So my wife is also an entrepreneur.
Okay.
She works in the mental health space, so she's more people facing, right? So she understands that people aren't going to do what you want them to do all the time. And I think that's the issue we're running into over here. Like, you ask us to do something, we do it, right? So you ask us to put in an application. You ask us to put in an application, right? We do that. We get it done. We're expecting the person on the other end of this application to review it in a reasonable amount of time, and then if they have an issue with it, let us know what issue they have so we can talk it through or not. We've been running it. This has been a couple of times where we'll put just going back to Tico. We put in an application for them to move our power lines out front, right?
Oh my God, I forgot.
For
Addison been so great. I forgot about all of that.
we put in an application back in December for them to move our power lines. 2 or 3 months went by. We didn't hear.
Put them where? Underground?
Yeah. 3 months go by. We don't hear anything about it. And they've been out there quite a few times.
3 months go by?
We've asked about it. We had a specific representative come into site. Nothing happened, right? So finally, it's time for us to do work on that side of the building. And, we can't wait any longer. We're framing the building up. We're framing second floor, third floor. And the city rolled by. They're like, hey, you guys are too close to the power lines. We're like, I guess we know, but they're not moving it. And how are we supposed to progress the project if they're not playing ball? But yeah, I mean, the city got involved and they got taken care of shortly after that. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's been the most challenging for us. Just people not doing, what they say they're gonna do.
Their damn job.
Kind of all across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but literally, like, remember, I called. That's also why we're good at what we do. We feel is like we don't run from confrontation. Like, you can't be scared of people. And I found out who was on top of our project for Tico prior to Addison. Googled his name, called his personal cell phone. I apologized. I'm like, hey, I know it's your personal, but I needed to talk to you. And he was like, no problem. And I was like, yeah, we've been waiting on power for X amount of days. And he was like, you know what? I apologize, man. I somehow your email slipped past me in January. This is like, what, April? Like, so it's just stuff like that. It's like, what do you mean it slipped past you?
Yeah.
And it was in the queue, his work queue.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean it slipped past you? Like, so.
Is you think that's the most important role of the developer is to be the group or the person to drive the project forward?
Yeah.
Like, bro, if no one's going to call that guy's cell phone, you might have sat there another 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Like, who knows?
You have to be everybody's accountability partner.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Holding everyone accountable, but also yourself.
Yeah.
Keep your end of the bargain up too. This is a good conversation for me because I got that project on Boulevard that I'm trying to work through. And part of me is sitting back and waiting for a couple things, but then sometimes I have to press and bend, and like really get in there and make something happen. It's a really interesting business. I've always been attracted to it. I've always wanted to be a developer, even when I didn't really know what that meant. I think this show has actually given me an interesting look into what it really means to be a developer. And what I've boiled it down to is just this. It's like the biggest role of the developer is that person who drives that project forward, who has to be the one to get with Tico to force them to do what they said they were going to do, or the city, or your framer, or another subcontractor, or your broker, or whatever that may be. Like, you are that driving force. And because our world is so regulated, every piece of this is regulated. The type of construction, I mean, you name it, it's regulated. And within those regulations, there's people, right? And so it's like navigating all of that as a part of the game. Like, I think maybe I was even naive to buy my building I bought, but also just in general of like, I'm going to go in and build this and do this and build back the city and create these amazing projects. Well, you find out very quickly that it's way deeper than that. It's not even close to a free-for-all. I think in this country, as Americans, we kind of have the idea of like free enterprise capitalism, but I think in real estate, it's oddly opposite. It's like they kind of tell you what you can do. And even within that, there's certain caveats that make a project might not make sense. Parking is a small example of a rule that can totally kill everything.
But here's the thing, and this is an issue we just are wrapping up. Our roof eaves hang over on Columbus. They hang over 6 inches into the right of way. The roof all the way at the top, right? So it's really not impeding any utilities because all the Tico wires got taken down. It's not impeding pedestrian mobility. Like it's really not an issue. But formally, you have to still go through the process of getting an encroachment application approved. So we're working through that right away. Dealing with those people again, working with the city, already kind of have relationships. They know our names at this point, so that helps. So we're working with them. It still has to go in front of each department: transportation, fire. Some departments has nothing to do with, but transportation. We got comments back from transportation, which we've already resolved. We got comments back from urban design. Urban design. Urban design, and that's the department I was in, but they said I talked to the guy who disapproved it, and he said I called him and said, I'm just trying to understand why you disapprove. You disapproved, that's fine, like we can work through it, but like what's the reason? And he said well, because you're in violation. No shit. That's the whole point of the application. So again, like what's the resolve? Like how do we fix this? And he was like, well, you can go to council and appeal it and this and that. And I'm like, bro, this is a city project. This is affordable housing project. We don't have time to go in front of council again. Like, and only for them to tell us yes.
So just to be clear, are we literally talking about, and so people listening who aren't watching the show, are we talking about the rendering I'm looking at where the roof, which is beautifully designed,
6
which
inches.
looks fucking awesome,
6 inches.
the 6 inches on that front side that's over the sidewalk?
Other side too, though.
And a foot on 22nd.
Oh, 22nd.
On this east side, which is all the way to the right.
All the way to the top, though.
Which is, I mean, we have
But to be clear, that specifically was in violation, and for the and not to make an exception or anything else, just because it was 6 inches and a foot over on the east side, now you're in violation. Can't do that.
No,
correct.
you can't. Go ahead.
But I mean, we have 0 setback.
Yeah, there's no tolerance. Like
For YC5, we don't.
And so when you get that denial, what does that mean? You have to redesign your roof?
absolutely not. So
It was already constructed.
yeah,
So our suggestion from the parties that denied us,
Talking in here.
our suggestion from the parties that denied us were to cut the overhangs off, and that was it. That was the only suggestion that we were given.
but again, so one I think the three of us were raised to literally not take no for an answer, responsibly. I worked for the city, so my code rules everything, right? City code. So I was
In
like,
their book. I mean, I think this whole thing's ridiculous, but
but I knew that we're in a special district. So you got Ybor, West Tampa, Seminole Heights, Tampa Heights, East Tampa, special districts, right? Their code supersedes general code. So I'm like, let me just look up encroachments in Ybor. And there's a whole section about it. And all of the bullet points, none of them applied to our project. Like we were clear of all of it. So I reached out to our contact at Historical, and I sent a screenshot of that section of the code and said, hey, to my knowledge, Ybor zoning code supersedes general zoning code. Like if we were just in a random non-special district area, then we would have had to go through the typical encroachment application process. But because we are where we're at, we don't have to go through that process. And so I only bring that up to say, like, had we not known to do our own due diligence, like, we could have been held up on that for weeks.
But hold on, though. Why wouldn't the person at the city know that? I mean, did you get back with that guy and say,
No.
hey, actually, you're wrong, sir, because right here in the code, in this historical district, we don't have to abide by whatever provisions you have in here.
Have you ever dealt with someone that just wouldn't take anything else other than their personal feelings into consideration?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we ran into.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, hey, yeah, you're denied. So.
But again, we know how the roles are stacked at the city. So we know who's on top of who. We know you're not the final say so. Like, respectfully.
Thank God you know.
Right. So
how many people don't know? How many people are investors in the city, and how many good people that are from the city want to do a project like this, but they don't know what you know. And because they don't know, they get caught up in this bureaucracy of the city government. And then their projects are not able to get done. And then we're sitting here complaining about affordable housing on one hand. And on the other hand, you got Dodo Bird at the city talking about 6 inches when he's not even correct.
Right. And even so, it's 6 inches. Like, and this is another concern. It's like, people who are working for the city, are you here for the betterment of the city and the progression of the city?
Right.
Or are you here to just make everybody's life difficult?
Right.
And I get it. Like, and this is the urban core. We're not talking New Tampa or somewhere where you have room. Like, we're in Ybor. The closer you get to the urban core, the tighter everything gets. So in my mind, the tolerance for little things like 6 inches, it should be like, you know what, as long as it's not impeding,
How did that end up? You basically did your own due diligence, found a section in the code that was contradictory to the denial, and you resubmitted it, or where did you go?
Made a phone call to the zoning director, great relationship with him, explained the situation. He was like, you know what, you are right. But still reach out to historical architecture and just kind of run it by them. And ironically, I had already talked to him. He came out to the site to take pictures just of our architectural appropriateness. And I told him the situation. He was like, yeah, just send an email to me and my colleague, and then we'll put it in front of the zoning director. But I had already talked to him. So at that point, we knew that it was done.
What had happened if you said, no, we're not going to cut that 6 inches off, like it's already built? They would have probably not given you like a certificate of occupancy. They would have probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably would have helped try to hold the project.
It would have just been like,
we weren't going to be able to finish it anyways because we had held off on completing our roof shingling because we didn't know
of this.
Yeah, man, it's snowball, man.
But I mean, but all for nothing? Am I wrong to say that? Like, what was all that for? That was just
from the city?
Yeah, like this holdup.
Practice.
Damn, that's an interesting way to look at it.
It was for practice, man.
For y'all.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, Kevin, because I feel like we're similar in the way that, like, you described some of the jobs you were working at, and when bullshit is in front of you, you're someone that's like, all right, I'm out. Like, this is ridiculous, right? But at the same time, like, bro, this whole business is full of that. Like, that's all this business is navigating someone at the city who's wrong.
No. So I'm out when the BS is like, when the numbers start to not make sense. That's when I check out. Or when I just feel like the person who I'm working beneath doesn't know what they're doing or talking about. That's when I check out.
But this type of shit doesn't necessarily bother you.
It turns us up. Like
it's like, all right, I'm gonna find a way around it.
Yeah,
that's the energy. That's the motivation.
There's always a way. And so, and you ask like, what happens to the other guy? Hey, he's a piece in the big picture, a small piece. So, having these relationships with the people who make the decisions administratively, that's all that matters.
I think we have to be some level of unwell to want to do this. No, seriously, I think that it just has to be something mentally where, you know, we like to face a little bit of adversity and we like a little bit of stress because, you know, I complain about this when I go home. You know, I talk about this to my wife when I get home. But at the end of the day, I don't really see myself doing anything else.
Literally.
Not right now. I mean, I have a plan maybe after we, you know, once we get enough projects. But like now, it's just like, what else are we going to do?
You got to want to do this.
Yeah.
You got to want to do this because it's not something you can just, oh, yeah, let's develop a couple little pieces of property here. Mm-hmm. That's not the way it works.
Yeah. And just being natives and having friends and family and seeing them affected by how the city is changing, like it constantly reminds us of our mission and like who we're doing it for. Like our biggest thing is we want to keep Tampa. Like there's a certain type of person. You can literally be out and about, restaurant, walking around. Like I'm sure you can say this, but like you can look at somebody or you can talk to somebody. You can tell if they're from Tampa or not. Like just, you know, we're laid back. Tampa's always been a city where, you know, it's super laid back, but if we need to put on makeup and turn it up, it's nothing. Gasparillas, Super Bowls, you know, all the things. So, you know, demeanor and all of that, like, and just how people, you know, like we're all Tampa people are nice. Mm-hmm. Like that's why I say you can tell when somebody's from here and when they're not from here. And so for us, it's we just want to. Everybody's been working their butts off all these years, and only for us to all get pushed out and not be able to reap what the city is becoming, like that's crazy.
And be a part of the growth of the city. Yeah. Like not just leave it up to Jeff Vinnick. Yeah. You know?
And we need
let some of the smaller and the medium-sized people have their share too.
Yeah. But Vinnick, he brought an energy in Cascade, you know, they brought an energy to Tampa that we hadn't felt in decades.
Oh my God, he's will go down in history as someone who did something in this city that was a defining characteristic that absolutely set us up for a beautiful future.
So as much as he inspires people like, you know, at our scale, I'm sure that project inspired Bromley, you know, and it gave Bromley a spark. Mm-hmm. That's Midtown. So.
And Daryl Shaw, I'm sure he looks at that neighborhood and goes, "Wow, man, these streets and these trees and this energy, this is something special."
Right.
Do you believe that this will? How do I say this? Like, I don't think that we can continue on a path to greatness as a city if we continue to have issues like that with the 6-inch thing, man.
Yeah.
It's discouraging to say the least. Sure. Like that's the nicest thing I could say about something like that. Mm-hmm. We talk about affordable housing. We talk about revitalizing the city and development, right? And all these things that we kind of all grew up waiting, driving on broken roads, all across this city.
Yeah.
I was just driving on Columbus, and they're redoing that road. They did McDill. They did South Bayshore. West Tampa's got all this great stuff, right? East Tampa through y'all's area where that project is in La Segunda, they did that awesome 2-lane road with the wide sidewalks and the parking, and it looks beautiful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like stuff is happening, man. It's not like nothing's not happening. I think there's a lot of good to be said about the city and the government and the dedication. And I think there's a lot of good infrastructure stuff happening. But when you have rocks and sand and these little problems in the gears that are turning, it can create bigger issues, man. And I look at something like this 6-inch thing and I think, how many projects got screwed up because of that?
Right.
You know, we talk about 10,000 units. The mayor wants to build 10,000 units. This is just 10, man. You know, it's 10 units. But how many units over the last, 20, 30 years have been screwed up because of small little nuances like that? It's only to your effort that you looked up that code and you did your due diligence and you navigated through it because you felt like you were right, and you were right. And the guy that worked at the city was actually wrong. So go ahead.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you know the process here, right? You submit drawings, they get approved, right? We told you we had to go through burial to get the certificate of appropriateness. How many sets of eyes do you think looked at these plans before we started construction? Don't you think that if this issue was a major issue, it would have been caught during the planning process?
Of course.
So I think that's kind of where it starts.
Is it ego?
Yes.
I mean, that's a real question, right? Like, is the ego of someone who works at the local government, who has a stamp in their hand, is that a downfall of some of these projects? I mean, like you just described, how many eyes have seen it? You're approved by so many. You're starting construction. You have a construction permit. Like, you've gone through the local architectural review board, which is the barrio. And then all of a sudden, you got to cut that off.
On top of, it's a city project.
So
do you work for the city or not?
It's a city project with the Tampa Housing Authority.
No, not even the housing authority.
No, who is it with? Just the city of Tampa.
Housing
and community development. Yeah.
So just so I understand, the Tampa Housing Authority is a specific entity, not within the government of the city of Tampa.
Correct.
But it's some sort of like a private public type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not working through them on this particular project. You're working through the actual city government.
Yep.
Correct.
And yet someone from the city says your 6-inch is off. Your 6 inches is too far.
And again, problems are going to happen. Like, that's part of what we do. But your willingness to try to work them out with the developer, like, that's kind of how we judge it. And I said to the guy, I'm like, hey, so how about I come up there, me, you, and the zoning director, we sit down and just kind of see if we can figure it out. Come up to Hannah and figure it out. And he was like, well, you got me on the phone now. Let's just save everybody's time. Like, I'm just like, bro. Like,
was he trying to get to yes? Was he trying to set?
No, that was like, you coming in here now is not going to change my mind.
There's no path to compromise. So had he asked us,
he didn't even provide solutions. He had to feel bad because I think he realized he was being just a complete jerk.
Sure.
Like, he sent the email, was like, hey, what do you say? Like, you guys can
send a sketch.
Leave a Google review?
No. He didn't send the sketch first. He sent 2 emails. He sent one email, was very just one sentence, like, you guys can try X. And it's like, okay, bro. And then like 30 minutes later, he sent an email with like a sketch and like way more detail. And it's just like, what? Like,
a sketch with what? To change the design?
Yeah.
To make it fit?
For us to reduce the overhang, which I wouldn't have been mad if you had, let's just say, all right, we're encroaching too much, right? Because on one side, it's like 1.5 feet. It's like 1.5 feet. If you're telling us, hey, you're encroaching too much into this right away, maybe you should reduce your overhang, and that'll be a healthy compromise. But no, we were asked to cut it back to the building, right? And that didn't make any sense. So we wouldn't have an overhang on the right side of the building over there.
And it would have looked kind of weird, right? I mean,
Yeah.
then we wouldn't have been appropriate anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't know how it gets caught. I don't know how you could look at the code and find something that someone who works at the city didn't see. Now, I also understand that there's, I mean, how many projects, and
Yeah.
we do have to give the people that work at the city some grace.
For sure.
Kevin, you worked at the city. It's, it's pretty difficult. Like, as you know, man, dealing with all this stuff, and people are people, right? They're going to miss some stuff. It's okay. It's okay. But from what I'm hearing from you guys, it's more about like,
Willingness.
an attitude for something to come in front of their desk, right? Well, clearly this is a denial, right? You're over 6 inches and 1.5 feet on the east side. Clearly it's a denial. But instead of me stamping it denial and passing it on, wait, it's a city project. Wait, it's an Ybor. Well, let me try to work through this.
Exactly.
Like, hey, Kevin, hey, man, like, what's up with this? Like, clearly I should deny this, but you're working with the city. Like, talk to me. What's up? But that didn't happen.
Like, our project manager works in the same building as you. Like, maybe 20 steps from you.
My first question when things like this come about is it a life safety issue? That's like my main question. If it's not going to affect someone's well-being or their safety, then why is it so serious? Right? The question was about dumping water onto someone's head as they walk by. We already have gutters on that side of the building. Would have known that had you taken it a step further to review our project.
Was that one of the things they said of like a reason why you have to cut this back is because the rain will collect on the roof and dump on the street?
That was after the fact.
After.
Yeah.
And that's the frustration. Like, you just said, I called you and asked, why did you deny it? You said, because we're in violation. That's the whole point of us submitting the application, because we're in violation. So you're not telling us anything.
Right.
You're not trying to help. You're just making things difficult.
Maybe they just get inundated with like 1,000 of these things every day, and it's so much that it's hard to give each individual person the attention that they might need to work through this. Maybe the city should hire more people.
They should.
I don't know what the answer would be. But here's the thing. What were you going to say?
We could talk about it later.
All right, fair enough. I wouldn't want us to be in a position as a city to have so many good things going for us. And we talk about them all the time on the show. And we have on these developers that build these hundreds, $100 million, $500 billion projects. And man, like at that level, I shouldn't say it's easy to work through rather. Like these developers do describe the challenges they have to work with the Federal Aviation Authority. And there's big issues on any level, of course. But it's a little easier when you got some jack in your pocket and you can kind of wait, man. When you guys are waiting here, it hurts y'all, and it hurts the progress of the city. Because big developments are great, like Water Street and gas and all these big things are great. But what about the in between, man? Like that's what this is. This is the infill. This is the in between. This is just as important as the big stuff. Yeah. And I think that any policy that gets in between that should really be looked at. And as the city grows and transitions, and we're sort of the hot new thing, and we're going to have a lot of people moving here, that's a piece that really needs to get figured out. Yeah. And I hope that this is something that's a relic of the past. I mean, we have an outdated code. We're redoing the code. The comprehensive plan is being updated. I think there's some stuff that will get fixed, but it also seems like there's a culture component, and maybe it's people that went to school in like the 70s and 80s, and it's just a different look at development than people that went to school when you guys did.
Yeah.
As culture moves forward, things change, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Then here's another problem too, and you guys are smiling and laughing, obviously, but the problem is you can't come out here and be like, F the city, and like y'all work with the city. You want to work with the city. You love, this is your city.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, businesses, and I say what I say, right? And I get some calls sometimes too, but I'm just being honest and I just want what's best for us, right? Like I live here like you guys live here. Like this is our city, man. So, but when business owners have issues with the city or when a developer has an issue with the city, unfortunately, it's hard for them to say anything because they're in this weird position where it's like, well, I want to tell everyone what's wrong. Like clearly there's an issue here with this specific thing, but I have to hold my breath because I don't want there to be like repercussions and I don't want my project to not go through. Like I want to, on one hand, do the right thing and say how I really feel about a problem, but on the other side, I kind of want to keep quiet so that everything just goes through as smooth as possible. And that's bad, right? That's a bad, dangerous position for business owners and developers and people in enterprise in a city wanting to do business. Like we don't want those people in a position where they feel like they can't come forward and they have to sit down and shut up. Like that's not good either.
Yeah, but you got to have some level of diplomacy.
Oh yeah.
And that's the frustrating part. Because, you kind of have to play politician and contractor and design professional. All of these hats you have to wear as a developer because your business won't be successful.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating.
And giving the people that work in the city government grace because they also are operating by that same rule book.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're making up, like that guy, right, at the city that denied you on that specific 6 inches, he's looking at that same book. Is it his fault necessarily, right? Or is it the game, like the actual rule book's fault? Yeah. Both can be true.
Yeah.
And it's no personal bad blood or anything. But we got to get our project done. So if we got to go around you, we got to go around you.
Right.
Like that's as simple as it gets for us. Like if you're in the way, if somebody's in the way, you go around them. Like if you can, you go around them.
That's where the skill comes in, right? Absolutely. As a developer, that's what makes you guys good dynamic developers is navigating this chessboard.
Yeah, but that's our experience from working in other roles and being able to kind of be in either in the driver's seat or in the passenger seat and seeing how to navigate tough situations so that when we come here, it's nothing. Like we don't flinch.
You probably expected it too, right? I mean, like this is just how it works, man. Like,
yeah, it's annoying, but we know for the most part we can work through just about everything.
Can we talk about the name? Where are we at? I feel like I've kept you all here for too long already, man. 2 hours? Holy shit. Let's we could talk for so long about this stuff. I do want to switch real quick and talk about some of the exciting stuff about this project. I know we've talked about a lot of challenges, obviously, but I think it's important because that's what makes you guys skillful at what you do, right? Is navigating that world. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes any developer a skillful developer is understanding that process and working through it, right? And the fact that you guys are you hiring an attorney to like do this all for you? Are you hiring a PR firm to work it? Or is it all y'all?
It's been all us, man. I think eventually we probably need to.
Yeah, I mean, we got legal, but as far as like PR and we'll get there. But for right now, just trying to keep it as lean as possible for as long as possible.
Like you said, practice.
Yeah, it's all practice, man. I mean, even with if we hire somebody and they don't have the same experiences, we're able to tell them, hey, don't accept this as the final answer. So I mean, honestly, it's all experience. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad about anything. You can't take any of this personal, anyways. So you just take it as a lesson, and next time it comes around, instead of a month, with that process, it'll take us a week or two to get it done. And I mean, I feel like that's how the successful developers are working, anyways. Like taking an issue, and now they have a case study for how it should happen in the future. And
the next time it happens, you know how to work it more quick.
Yeah.
Well, this thing's freaking awesome. Let's talk about the name and sort of the inspiration behind it. Casa Maceo. Mm-hmm. Who is Maceo?
Antonio Maceo, he was a Afro-Cuban military leader. You know, we wanted to. This our property is on Columbus and 22nd, which Columbus kind of delineates Ybor from East Tampa. It's kind of like a weird overlap, but you know, we wanted to pick somebody who we felt like both communities could somewhat resonate with. Again, it's a name, so it's, you know, like you said earlier, like apartments change names every 5 years if they want to, or if they get bought out or whatever, or sell the property. So, you know, it was just something. Obviously, we're in Ybor, so we wanted to pick something that kind of you know, connected with the area, the Casa part, and
Absolutely.
and then Antonio Maceo. We just felt like he was a stand-up individual. He has, if you look him up,
Yeah, look him up, David. Let's read about this guy.
I mean, most of the information you'll see is pretty positive. Like, I mean, everybody has their stuff, but nothing that's like he was celebrated. So,
Good looking dude. Lieutenant General Jose Antonio de la Caridad Maceo. There's no way that's his name. Does any of y'all speak Spanish?
not
David?
Not enough to.
It's not Ukrainian, so no help there. Is that his freaking name? I'm gonna butcher that. Maceo is in there. Lieutenant General Jose Antonio de la Cadred Maceo y Granjales. I think that was close enough. His nickname was the Bronze Titan.
Come on, man. This guy's like,
Damn, bro. Born June 14th.
oh, and he's a Gemini. That's my brother.
I'm a Gemini too, June 8th. Shout out Geminis. 1845. He died in 1896 in Cuba. Scroll down, David. Let's see what he did here in Tampa. 10 years war. So scroll down. How'd y'all find his name?
So just trying to find somebody who was somewhat meaningful. He's also Jose Marti. I think that name is used in Ybor quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
They were, I think there's a Marti Maceo, like they have like a organization or something in Ybor. So yeah, it was simple. It wasn't too deep of a, you know, search, but
It was like, hey, we want to find a name that fits with Ybor. We want to do something that has to do with the history. This is a cool guy. Look what he's done. All right, we'll name it. You know,
he's half black, he's half Cuban,
right?
Like, or I think he's a quarter. Like I think his mom was half black.
Well, what was his nickname? The Bronze something.
Bronze
Sounds like he was a lighter skinned guy, like
Bronze Titan.
Bronze Titan.
Yeah.
Cool. Go type in Antonio Maceo Ybor and see if something specific pops up. La Union. So maybe he started the La Union Social Club.
So it's
Visit Tampa Bay.
Is his family?
Oh, he started a cultural hub for the Afro-Cuban community in Ybor. Wow.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. So
Man, I love everything about this. The history, the look. You guys are on the right path with this, man. I hope y'all can seriously do 10 more of these in that area. That area needs it. North of 275 could be a really, really exciting place. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening with what the Newmans are doing. The city's done a beautiful job with that street, which we talked about. Crosswalks, it looks good.
Yeah.
And it's right on the other side of 275 where all these new amenities of gasworks are going to be. Like I think it's a place where a lot of people are going to want to live. I have no doubt this project, you're going to get a lot of people excited about it. Do you already have are you doing any sort of leasing yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're probably. I mean, it's 10 units, so we don't think it'll take that long to fill up.
Sure.
We'll probably start leasing closer.
Are you hiring anyone?
What do you mean? Like for
Broker?
a
Leasing agent or a company to help you out?
Are you putting your resume?
Not at all. Not at all. I was going to hope you were going to say you're going to do it yourself. I love the fact that you guys have taken your business completely inward and vertical, and like every part of it you're learning, every part of it you're doing. It's only 10 units. You guys should do it yourself, man.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll leave. I mean, it's just 10, so we'll go through the applications. We'll make sure we meet all of the the guidelines that were being
We
upheld?
didn't
Sure.
yeah, it's 50 to 80%. Max rent will be.
We don't even want to put a number because we don't. I'll just say that because we don't know the new numbers for 2022.
Explain how that works. So you basically have to look at how much people make in the zip code.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take the area median income. I'm not sure what it is this year. But basically, you make
Google it, David.
Yeah, you make a representation with 30. We're representing 50. The people who make 50% of that, and the people up to 80% of that income, and then they have to provide information for us to actually verify that.
So the people that live there have to make 50 to 80% of the median income of that specific zip code.
Correct.
And there's a rent number that you have to hit too. There's two things. So that's the income qualification to actually be a tenant and live there. What's the rent number?
So that's the thing. When we originally did this, I think for the pro forma that we had, rents for like $1,200 and $1,700, and these are all 3.2s.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think we failed to mention that these are all 3.2s, and not even compact 3.2s. They're like 1,200 square feet.
You can get a 3.2 at La Union for about 3,400.
So that's what the price is going to be on these? You're saying?
Well, that was 2 years ago. I mean, we can.
But in that, yeah.
There you go.
So the area median income
50% is
$98,000. Whoa, that seems way higher than what I thought it would be. Huh. So these can't be the right numbers. A conforming loan is $800,000 now. Is that where we're at on these loans?
Fannie Mae is.
Bro, last I checked, that was like $600,000. I can't believe it's now up to 800. We're so cooked. No,
really,
bro. I'm thinking about like my kids, man. Like, how are young people gonna grow up and in 20 years look for a place to live? It's gonna cost them $3 million.
You might be there, David, at the top, the income guidelines. Or is that what you clicked on?
Yeah, that's the City of Tampa website. I'm sure I think they have a map. Right?
I think it's that one. Yeah.
Federal Housing, Urban Development, State Income Limits.
Yeah, because HUD, they have zip codes on the main site.
So you guys are qualified very low and low income, which is 50 to 80%. 50% would be $36,500. 80% is $58,000. Bro, low income is $60,000. When I graduated college, $60,000 was like a really good salary. That's so crazy how much it shot up. Because we talked earlier about the inflation of the dirt, right, and the construction, outgoing costs.
Yeah.
But the inflation of wages too. Yeah. Like $100,000 a year is not really going to like change your life anymore. You know, that's just amazing to me. So this is these are the limits you guys have to work with.
Yeah.
And so when the tenants come in and put their application, they will have to be screened and they will have to verify that they make this amount of money we're seeing on the screen here.
Correct.
And how do you get the rent number?
So that also is that's a HUD designation as well. There's a chart on the HUD website that we can search our zip code, and it'll lay out all of the rents. Like,
so y'all aren't even putting up your own numbers.
Oh,
It's right there in front of you.
It's per household. Actually, I'm sorry, it's per bedroom.
It's per bedroom.
Yeah, the number that we're using is per bedroom. So we're going all three bedrooms.
And that number comes out to, you said 12 to 17?
Yeah, that was like 2023. I'm sure the numbers have gone up. I think they increased like 3% a year. So,
but still,
it's around the
15 to 2?
Yeah, still cheap.
For a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, brand new, I can move in there for under $2,000.
I-4 is 30 seconds away. Ybor is 2 minutes away. Downtown is 5 minutes away.
Usually when I see a larger affordable housing, air quote, actually affordable housing has been used in such a bad way, you're starting to hear people try to get away from it because of, affordable housing. And then you look it up, it's like $3,000 a month or something. But this is real affordable housing. I mean, a 3.2 brand new in that location for like $1,800. like a family could live there. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath,
Yeah.
parking, all the above.
If you go to the 3rd floor, we'll give you a tour.
I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah,
But here's the thing: where's the grocery store? Where's the amenity? You know, in this neighborhood in particular, there's a little bit of a lacking commercial
we need it.
scene too.
We need it.
Working
Yeah.
on it.
Working on it too.
Yep.
Well, you had that pharmacy you were saying, right?
But
The bar into a pharmacy
that's on 40th, almost to Hillsboro,
further north.
which is about 10 minutes.
Too far to consider. Yeah, but kind of too far to consider this immediate neighborhood.
Not walkable, yeah.
Not walkable.
But
I can't believe the deal you've worked out to provide 10 units. People should look at the video right now, how nice this looks. For people making 50, 60 grand a year, and to pay 15, 18, maybe 2,000, sounds like max or so a month. I feel like the city needs to start writing you more checks, man. This is very, very well done. Is there any reason in particular? I mean, we've talked today about your efforts to get this done, the things you've had to navigate, right? It's not easy. Is there anything in particular that made this project super successful in terms of the quality and the price? Like, did you get the dirt for super cheap? Like, here's the question. How do you replicate this like 10 times? Like, what needs to happen?
a partnership, a long
Capital.
a long-term partnership with the city, or just working together, collaborating, like
Yeah.
intentional collaboration. Because where we're at, we really pride ourselves on focusing on the missing middle. So we'd say anything from like 4 units to you can even duplexes, like 2 units to like 100 is where we kind of want to situate ourselves and allow ourselves to kind of get the smaller lots that some of the bigger guys can't really. It doesn't pencil out for them. Whereas us, we're vertically integrated, so we're able to cut down a lot on the pre-development costs. So we're going into projects with very minimal money being put out already. So I think once this one is done, it'll definitely grab the attention of a lot of people and the respect of some of the decision makers in regard to housing and housing, mixed use, all of that. So.
Well, I'm going to be sure to help y'all with that. We'll post this when it's complete. Love to do a tour. We'll get videos. I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
Did you guys want to watch that council meeting and go into any of that? I feel like we've talked enough shit for the day, especially on my side. I don't know that it's necessary.
Okay.
But your work, you have other projects, obviously, that you're trying to move forward. And there's a little bit of an issue with some rezonings. And this one, we'll talk about this one. We don't need to go into the council meeting. But this one, what's this project called?
Still shopping, I guess, or no?
We
Is this still on the DL a little bit in terms of like it's not quite solid?
This is the first. You're the first to outside of us in our immediate circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the first.
Well, it looks nice.
Thanks.
Is it spoken for? I mean, you have it under contract and you're moving forward with it?
We're already under construction.
Damn.
Yeah, we have foundations done. We're gonna start underground plumbing this week.
It's good looking, but I'm guessing it's not like in the urban core city downtown area.
North.
It looks more of like a suburban style. It's very unlike the one we just went over.
It's just north of Bush and just east of Nebraska, and so it's like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes from 275.
This is a very like mid late century, like 1970s style, which is actually really interesting. I haven't seen any new construction apartments that are this style. Just like I haven't seen a lot of the other 10 units. You guys are pretty, I think, design forward in what you do, probably because of your background.
Yeah.
But was there a site constraint, or why build it like that? Like all these new apartment buildings are garden style, vertical. This is so 1970s.
You know what's different about this project is we purchased it permitted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that the owner prior to us, I think that there were site constraints, and they were trying to figure out how to maximize on units. But the surrounding neighborhood is all single family, single story, smaller homes. So I think that they needed some way to fit as many units as possible on this lot while matching the existing context of the neighborhood. Yep. So this one had been permitted for a while. Their permits were actually about to expire when we closed, and so yeah, we swooped in and through a similar type of deal with the city of Tampa, we got this one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The city clearly values you guys.
We hope so.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is. I mean, we're not asking for too much,
Yeah.
and we're capable of. We don't need our hands held.
Yeah.
You know, most issues that come up, we're not calling, housing for our issues. We're trying to deal with it, and then if it's too much for us to handle, we'll ask them to intervene. But yeah, we're self-sufficient,
Yeah.
and so I think that kind of makes for a good partnership. We don't have to hold your partner's hand.
For sure.
You just trust them to get stuff done, and they get it done.
Yeah, the city, I guess, has the housing goals and money.
Yeah.
And then if they can find people that know what they're doing, it makes that gap a lot easier to bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting, man. So how many units is this one?
10.
Another 10 unit.
Yeah, another 10.
Same kind of story with the affordable housing, all those same qualifications.
These are 2-1s though.
2-1.
So more, not so much family oriented, more like me and my friend, we just graduated from school, or me and my friend, grew up in Tampa, and, we're kind of trying to transition. So, not, like I said, not so much family oriented. I mean, or maybe like a single parent and their one child,
Sure.
or 2 children.
Students.
Yeah, students. This is like 10 minutes from USF. So
Really interesting design. We'll plan a day and I'll just come around with y'all and check out all these different projects. I love what you guys are doing, man. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for spending so much time. And I look forward to checking out that project in Ybor and trying to help y'all replicate that. Like, I'd love to be involved. We can talk about that offline, but I think that what you're doing with the design component is, to me, what I see separates you guys from a lot of the other affordable developers. Is you're so intentional with the design. Like, when I look at that building, I'm like, okay, well, that's just market rate. Well, no, it's not actually. And the fact that you were able to accomplish that and get that look and get that vibe, it's impressive, man. It's cool.
Thank you.
thank you.
So thank you guys. Thank you guys for what you do. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Cheers. If people want to follow you, get in touch, how can they do that?
Shacres Development. What's that?
Shacres.development is the Instagram. Website is shacres.com.
You want to give out an email if someone wants to get in touch with you?
Sure. kjohnson@shacres.com.
kjohnson@shacres.com.
Yeah, or dpittman@shacres.com. Very simple.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye, everybody.